Okay, so I'm doing this video unscripted and just kind of throwing stuff at the wall because I don't want to have to prepare scripts for this because it's not a whole lot of news. But today, January 28th, 2021, has been a really interesting day for the roller coaster industry. It started out kind of mellow. We got an announcement for a job fair that's happening at Cedar Fair within the next week, I think. And we got a new promotional video for a Intimate Impulse coming to a park in China. Sorry, I can't remember the name of it. But what we are also getting, we got a lot of big news today. The news that we got today was from 5 different Cedar Fair parks. We got news from Kings Island, Cedar Point, Kings Dominion, Carowinds, and Canada's Wonderland, which I was really surprised on, and obviously it's the one that I'm the most excited about. But we got a reveal of the announcement dates, of the planned announcement dates for, or opening dates, for all 5 of those Cedar Fair parks, what are basically the 5 biggest Cedar Fair parks in the chain, as well as the 5 that have the Giga Coasters, which is going to be interesting because it's going to be the first time in over a year that all 5 Giga Coasters have been operating. Or all 5 Cedar Fair Giga Coasters have been operating, at least. So, the plan for now, what they announced, is that Cedar Point and Canada's Wonderland plan to reopen on May 14th. Kings Island has prepared for a pass holder preview on May 8th. And Kings Dominion and Carowinds are planning for a May 22nd opening. Here I should also mention that on the server where I got all of this information from, Valley Fair and Worlds of Fun were also listed as opening on May 22nd, but I couldn't find any sources of that so far. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of doubts about this. The thing that I'm most doubtful for is Canada's Wonderland, because if you're not in Ontario, then you might not know this, but we have gone back into, basically a full lockdown, the entire province, essentially. It was originally just Toronto and Peel, but now it's the entire province, and basically we're back to stage 1, province-wide almost. And so, well, I mean, it's hard to tell because now we're just getting into February in the next few days, and May is a long ways away. So it's going to be interesting to see what's actually going to come of this, and if they are going to be ready and available to open on May 14th. But there is something that gives me a lot more confidence in this actually happening. And that's from the head of communications for Canada's Wonderland, Grace Peacock. She made someone responded to the announcement, adding her, saying if she's able to confirm that the park has had communication with the government, and she replied with a thumbs up. So that gives me a lot of hope for this actually happening, and I really hope that it does, because Canada's Wonderland is my home park and I haven't visited it in over a year now. And I'm getting kind of homesick, even though it's not that close to me. I am getting kind of homesick, and there's a lot of video opportunities that I really miss there. Honestly, I would be fine if none of the coasters opened, and if we were just allowed to go in there, they ran a few tests, and you got some food or something like that, just like a walk around thing. I would 100% go to that, just because I want to be able to film more things there. But I really hope that it does open, and it's going to be really interesting to see if it does. Obviously, I'm more invested in the Canada's Wonderland opening than any of the others, because, well, I can't get to any of the others. But Kings Island and Cedar Point, I'm not really surprised that they've planned their opening this early ahead of time. They were the ones who were pushing more than any other to open last year, which makes sense because it was Cedar Point's 150th anniversary, and Kings Island made the debut of Orion. So it makes sense that they were really trying to push for this 2020 to open. And I'm not surprised that they pushed to open like this. I am surprised by King's Dominion and Carowinds. Carowinds, I was a little bit less surprised of, but King's Dominion I was really surprised of because we'd gotten very little information from King's Dominion the entirety of 2020, and given how they do have plans in motion, and with something like this, it feels a lot more concrete than any of the other things that they did at like the beginning of 2020 up until they announced the official opening date and the park started opening. I'm kind of interested to see what this is gonna mean for the potential of other parks to reopening. The three that I'm most interested in right now, or I guess the two that I'm most interested in right now, are Marineland and La Ronde. And obviously that's because, well, they're in Canada, and I might actually be able to get to one of them this year. So yeah, those are the two that I'm most interested in opening. Marineland is in Ontario, so that's going to be interesting as well to see what comes of that, especially since Marineland has a lot of plans for the future. Although I have a lot of doubts about Marineland, about the potential of Marineland opening this year, as opposed to something like Canada's Wonderland, because as we saw from Clifton Hill last year, it was very, very poorly organized, and it was just kind of a mess. I obviously didn't go to Clifton Hill there, but we could see from the video that was taken, it was a disorganized mess, basically. And so I have doubts about Marineland and other stuff in the Niagara Falls region opening up, but I hope it does, because I haven't been able to get to Marineland. I had plans for 2019. I had like a little bit of plans. And then I had big plans for 2020 that fell through. So hopefully this year I can actually get back up to Niagara Falls. I haven't been there since, 2018? Yeah, it's been almost 3 years now since I last went to Niagara Falls, but I'm hoping I can get up there nice. I'm hoping I can get up there and that everything's safe. Obviously, I really want there to be good procedures and for everyone to follow them. From my experience at La Ronde last year, there was pretty good. I'd say it was like average for following guidelines and everything. The guidelines like in the stations and just around the park in general were fine. But in the queue lines was where I saw a large amount of just not really caring. And that's why I have a few doubts about this. But I really hope that it happens, and I'm interested to see what all of you think about everything that's been announced today. I'll try to throw up some pictures that I find on screen. And by the way, all of this information that I got a little bit off of just Twitter, just browsing on there, but most of it came from the GP2 Enthusiast server, which I'll post a link to in the description. It's a really good spot that I find out about a lot of coaster news from, and I would say that it's a good resource, because it's a good resource where a lot of different information gets collected, and also it's just a fun place to hang out. I'm on there pretty often, but yeah, I'm interested to see what all of you think about what's going to happen with all of this, and what do you think? Do you think that the parks are going to open or not? Do you think that things are going to be delayed? I'm more interested in, I'm personally the most interested in Canada's Wonderland, obviously, but I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks about the openings and what they might mean. I know that I said as well that I'm going to be trying to move away from roller coaster content, and I am, but the thing is that I have a bunch of different videos that I have planned down the pipeline, but none of them are concrete, none of them are done yet, so those are going to take a little bit. Expect less uploads, basically, is what I'm meaning. But this news, I felt like it was important enough to make a video about, especially since it opens up the potential for a lot more future stuff to come to this channel if Canada's Wonderland actually does get to open. In my personal opinion, I think, given where we are now, I think that the opening is going to be pushed back to either late May, somewhere in between late May and mid-July, I think is when it's actually going to open. I am fairly confident that it's not going to open in July, though. And I think that that's because Canada's Wonderland, I really think that they're not going to try to budge on going past Canada Day. Because Canada Day, well, I mean, it's Canada Day. It's a big event. And I really think that if they're told that they have to push it back to, let's say, within like a week of Canada Day, like let's say they're allowed to open on July 5th. I think that Canada's Wonderland is going to fight and try to push that back to at least July 1st. That's just me personally. But anyways, I'm curious to see what all of you think about this. So if you have any discussion that you want to get into, then leave it in the comments down below and I'll respond and we can have a nice conversation about it. But anyways, I'm Atomic and I hope to see you all in the next video.